The boy whispered, "Spare my sister, take me instead." The rancher's response shocked them both. The dust hadn't even settled when the boy stepped forward, his thin body shaking, his eyes full of fear, far too old for his age. In a place where mercy was rare and survival demanded silence, he did the unthinkable. He offered himself in place of his sister. The wind carried his whispered plea across the dry ranch land, and for a brief moment, time itself seemed to pause. No one there expected what would happen next. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that restore faith in humanity, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps these powerful stories alive. The ranch sat at the edge of nowhere, where cracked earth stretched endlessly and the sun showed no mercy. It was a place built on hard work and harder rules, owned by a man whose reputation made grown men tremble. The rancher was known for his strict discipline, his towering presence, and his cold stare that could silence a room. People said he had no heart left, that life had beaten it out of him years ago. And yet, no one truly knew the weight he carried behind that weathered face. The boy and his younger sister had wandered onto the land by accident, or maybe desperation. Hunger had guided their steps more than choice. Their clothes were torn, their shoes barely holding together, and their faces were smudged with dust and exhaustion. They had lost their parents months earlier, swallowed by circumstances too cruel for children to understand. Since then, the boy had become everything: brother, protector, and shield. Every night, he promised himself that as long as he breathed, his sister would survive. When they were discovered near the cattle pens, fear hit them like a sudden storm. Workers surrounded them, voices rising, accusing, threatening. Trespassers weren't tolerated. Punishment was swift, especially for thieves, and hunger had already pushed the boy to steal a loaf of bread from the supply shed. His sister clutched his arm, eyes wide, body trembling, unaware of how close danger truly was. That was when the rancher arrived. He didn't shout. He didn't rush. He simply stood there, his shadow stretching across the ground, his eyes scanning the scene. Silence fell, heavy and suffocating. The boy felt it then, the end of the road. He felt his sister's grip tighten, felt her fear seep into his bones. And in that moment, something inside him rose stronger than terror. He stepped forward, knees weak, voice barely more than breath, offering himself so his sister could be spared. There was no drama in his act, no expectation of heroism. It was pure instinct, born from love and responsibility no child should ever carry. The workers froze. Even the wind seemed to hesitate. The rancher looked at the boy for a long time. His face showed nothing, but inside, memories stirred, memories of a younger version of himself, standing helpless while life took everything he loved. He had once been a boy too, forced to grow up fast, forced to choose survival over softness. Years of grief had hardened him, convinced him that compassion only led to pain. Yet here stood proof that kindness could survive even in the harshest soil. Instead of ordering punishment, the rancher dismissed the workers. Confusion rippled through the air. The children expected anger, maybe violence. What they received was something far more powerful: silence filled with thought. The rancher walked closer, noticing the boy's cracked hands, the girl's sunken cheeks, the way the boy stood just slightly in front of her, as if his body alone could shield her from the world. He saw not thieves, but survivors. The rancher made a decision that shocked everyone, including himself. He didn't send them away. He didn't call the authorities. Instead, he offered them food, shelter, and work suited to their age. The boy was given small tasks, nothing that would break him further. The girl was given a safe place to rest, clean clothes, and warmth she hadn't felt in months. For the first time since their parents died, they slept without fear. Days turned into weeks. The boy worked hard, always watching his sister, always grateful, though he never asked for more. The rancher observed from a distance, noticing how the boy never complained, how he shared his meals, how his eyes softened whenever his sister laughed. Slowly, walls that had taken decades to build began to crack. The rancher started speaking to them, not as a boss, but as a man. He learned their story, their losses, their dreams that still somehow survived. In their resilience, he found healing. In their trust, he found redemption. The ranch, once a place of harsh rules, began to feel different, lighter, warmer, more human. But the greatest change was within the rancher himself. The boy's selfless act awakened something he thought was long dead. He realized that power wasn't in control or fear, but in mercy. That saving others didn't weaken a man, it restored him. As the seasons changed, so did their lives. The children grew healthier, stronger, safer. The boy no longer carried the weight alone. The girl smiled more freely. And the rancher, once feared, became a quiet guardian, giving without needing praise, protecting without asking thanks. Just before the story ends, I want to ask you something important. Please comment below with a red heart if you believe that one act of courage can change multiple lives. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the rancher watched the children laugh in the distance. He understood then that the boy's whisper had not been a plea of desperation, it had been a test of humanity. And by answering it with compassion, all of them had been saved in ways that went far beyond survival. If this story touched your heart, reminded you of the power of kindness, or made you believe in second chances, please take a moment now to like this video, share it with others, and leave a comment. Your engagement helps spread stories that matter, and sometimes, stories like this are exactly what the world needs.